Okay, 24th verse. Avyaktam yaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavamajananto mamavya yamanuttamam naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानीनि च अर्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन. So why does it take a long time for people to come to this realization, and in fact multiple janmas to reach there? Because there is a progression everybody has to go through. So we can start with maybe an example. So there was a king who had a son. He wanted to make him go through ground level reality. And so he made him, very silently in the camouflage, he went and dropped him off in a orphanage. And he wanted him to mingle with other children, very simple children. So nowhere was any mention in the orphanage given to him that he was a prince. So he mingled and he was very young. So for him, he was very innocent. He didn't even know that his father was a king. So he just went there and started mingling with them and, got to know their traits, etc., whatever they were, and also mingle with them as so like any other normal person. After many years, right, the king said, oh, let's bring him back. 5 years, and he brought him back into his kingdom. And then he tells him his real name with the name Prince in front of it, and that he is the father, that he would be the future king, all of that stuff. The child was totally clueless. The child was totally, to come to terms with the fact that he was now in a kingdom took a lot of time, right? Because he was, his early years were all in an orphanage. That is the case for all of us, for those of us who go through that progression. So once you're in a certain mold, right, of circumstances, people, family, wherever you are, situations, to come out of it and realize that there is something else that is superior or something else that is forthcoming, something that is driving one's life takes a lot of time. So the thought processes are very different, right? For a person in an orphanage than that one in a kingdom. Even though one would be humble, but still at the same time, you have to behave in a certain manner. Your outlook in life is different. Your responsibilities are different. Same thing happens, right? This thing that the person, the child in orphanage is what happens to many of us through multiple lifetimes. Each time progressing a little bit, but still, there are barriers. And at some point, we come into a place into a surrounding where, slowly and steadily one is revealed of there is of a higher force in nature. So in 24th stanza, he builds on this one. What he says is that avyaktam vyaktimapannam. He gives a very strong message here. It says, foolish people, think of me. Here, either you can look at it as think of me, who is really the unmanifest, as somebody who is a manifest. Manifest meaning, unmanifest meaning is the unknown, is behind the form. So they only think of the forms. Now you can look at this, therefore not seeing my real nature. You can look at this as multiple ways, right? Those of us who have seen, it's Krishna, right? If Arjuna saw Krishna, and even now he's seeing Krishna as a form. Because even though he has heard him say about, you know, uh, the formless to some extent in the previous chapter, this chapter, he still sees him as a form, and that's what majority of the people see it. So that is in the context of godly aspect. Now, when he says here unmanifest, he's talking about the manifestation that he has created, the divine, which is what all the objects, the people, the situations, the things of attraction and repulsion, cravings and aversions, all of them are things in the manifest form. There is never all of these things that happen in the unmanifest form. It doesn't even exist because that is a void. So it's only when there is something that has got a substance to it or a matter to it where the all these opposites come into play. So he's saying everybody's trapped in this opposites. Everybody's trapped in you know um, what is there in life that makes them happy or makes them sad, and they go through this endless cycle of happiness, sadness, misery, all of that stuff, not realizing there is something behind it. That's what he's referring to here. So my immutable, my imperishable nature, right? My all-pervading nature. And if you see this, right, even as you go out of this, and some people who are in the religious realm of things, they sometimes get into this trap of looking at, going to a temple or when worshipping somebody in their own homes as, you know, so we refer to this, right? Nirguna and Saguna. Saguna means the form. So I look at that, idol that I have of Krishna, idol that I have of Rama. And for me, that's all there is to it. Right. I do all the pujas, abhishekams, etc., etc., every month. Very dutifully do all of that. That worship is fine. Krishna here is also saying that worshipping the deity in the form of a picture or in the form of a idol, whatever it is just a pointer to what exists behind that idol. What is the force behind that idol? That entity, right? If we are not able to tap into by seeing that, Krishna or Rama or Shiva or Ganesha, then it is a half-baked progress, spirituality. It is actually not even spirituality, it's more in the realm of religion. So one has to peel that banana, as they call it. So the banana is, you'll get attracted by the looks of the banana. But the sweetness of the banana is seen when you peel it. And then you see what is the other, the amrit inside, the whitish stuff. It's just serene in nature. And God has created that whitishness. You break open a coconut, whitish in nature and amrit. You peel the banana, there is whiteness. The whiteness just signifies so much, in the physical form itself. And it talks about the purity of that fruit that's there, the purity and the sanctity of the divinity seen, in that coconut water and the taste of the coconut water and the coconut um, itself, right? When we have it. So here, so to make sure he's saying, don't look at the deity, don't look at the forms that I am in as the end in itself, right? Yes, it requires, to get attention, to get focus, to do certain practices, etc. It is definitely a good conduit to do it. But it's not an end in itself because I am beyond that. I am beyond that as an unmanifested Ishvara. So then he goes on to the 25th stanza. Why is it that it happens? So this is where the word Maya comes into the picture. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavitaha. See the word, right? Because of the word, because of Maya, that illusion. Illusion, what world is an illusion? Not illusion is something that is. Illusion is something where what is what I see, what I perceive is not the ultimate reality. There is something behind it. My real nature is behind the the scene, behind the perceptible forms and shapes and everything that we see every day. So because of that, and it sort of builds on the previous answer, right? What is that Maya? It is just names and forms, everything here. So here I just want to talk about, Guruji has talked about this word Maya. He peeled the onion a little bit on what this Maya means. And he was referring to three types of Maya, broadly speaking. So the first one is referred to as Moha Maya. So Moha Maya is, where, you are more caught up on possessions, be it a family, be it money, be it property, whatever it is, and for you, that is where happiness is. And that person also experiences a tinge of happiness when he or she gets something. At the same time, when that little thing that he possesses goes away or taken away from him for to whatever means, then there is misery. But but then he looks at what's the next thing that can bring me happiness. So they're trapped into this endless cycle of mohamaya, wanting something that can give me happiness. Not realizing why is it that the same thing that gave me happiness is no longer there. Why? How can I, elongate this range of happiness, etc. The second one that Guruji talked about was, so first one is Mohamaya, then second one was Mahamaya. Mahamaya is a lack of understanding of reality. Spirituality is very minimal in such a person, very ignorant, and therefore, you know, that person, is will run some. You've seen some people running a cat race in life, right? Morning till evening. I mean, they are doing their work very beautifully, etc. But they just run one after the other, one after the other. It's one. How can I do 10 things today? How can I this today? Super rajasic, whatever, getting things done. But at the same time, perhaps very restless, not getting enough peace at all. So mechanical life, as though, hardly use of any intellect there. So it's almost like an animalistic life, as they call it. It's what they do, right? Animals just pretty much run morning to evening. They have an instinctive driven nature. Morning till evening, that's what they're doing. And that what comes under Mahamaya. Some category of people get there. And then the Yoga Maya. The Yoga Maya people are the ones that um, are actually doing practices. They have some understanding of spirituality. They are doing some sadhana. They are doing some of the best practices that are taught by the gurus, teachers, etc. And they have achieved something. Maybe they've achieved some siddhis, maybe some goodwill, some blessings, grace that has come from the masters, wherein, let's say they're able to tell somebody this is what's going to happen, gut feeling in the third, sixth sense works very strongly in them, etc. And they get caught up in that web that I have come to this stage. So all gurus say this, Guruji also said this, don't get trapped. Those siddhis are just a partial, indicator of success of your spiritual path. It is just a temporary being. And if you're caught in that, actually your ego builds up and it pulls you down. Contrary to what you want in this path of spirituality, where you want to cleanse your ego, you want to be grounded, etc. When you get into some of the siddhis and other things, what happens that, you start elevating yourself. I can do this, I can do that. You come to me, make some money out of it. Money, just mind goes into a very tangential mode, even in the realm of spirituality, because of the stuck. So these three mayas, broadly speaking, is what Krishna is also referring to here. It's that there is the maya is also referred to as, um, how do I say it? Like a parda, right? Um, or another way to look at it is that, let's say you have a headlight, a LED headlight in a car, and you have multiple layers of bed sheets put on top of it. You're not able to see the headlight at all. And slowly and steadily, you're able to unravel, remove the layers of that blankets or whatever that's covering, and you start seeing the light within. So the process in the spiritual path is really that peeling that onion, peeling that layers of blankets that are covering the super shine of that LED light of that car. That's the thing, and that those layers are coming because of the illusion, because of the Maya. That's the way to understand it. So therefore, he says that people don't realize of me as being born, unborn. Hmm. So how if there is one beautiful way to look at this, how we see ourselves in the mirror. Let's just say, take for example an animal. Let's take a bird. How many animals see the mirror? Not at all, right? It's only we who see
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
mirror. Yeah. So in a particular forest or an area, somebody puts a mirror, huge mirror, and there are so many birds there. So a particular bird goes in front of that mirror and it sees another bird. It's and it makes a sound. It seems like that other bird is also opening its mouth. So somewhere it thinks that this other bird is real bird there. So goes to it, wants to hug it, gets close to the mirror, but it's not able to find anything. Wants to really, become friends with that bird that's there in the mirror. So that illusion of, and a duality, right, is what that bird is going through. Somebody else, some other identity, good or bad, right? And then it is very curious. It goes to the back of the mirror. It finds nothing. So similarly, right, as human beings, that mirror is just a replica of how our life is. The mirror is a reflection of our thoughts, reflection of our emotions, of our vasana. The mirror is essentially the objects, the people, the relationships, the experiences, not realizing that behind the mirror, there is something beautiful, total emptiness. Rarely do we see the back of the mirror in our life. Because always, it's a reflection, right? Whatever we do in our life is a reflection of what we are within. So the more we are able to erase things, the more we are able to be in the knowledge, right? The outer world also starts reflecting the same thing. And slowly and steadily we get into the space of void, when we meditate, when we are in knowledge, etc. So, so here, Krishna is just wanting us to sort of, first realize this, that there is a problem at hand, and it is solvable problem. Mm. And um, he refers also, in some of the other shlokas, he said, right, I'm that seer of everything, like the sun. I know everything that's happening in you. Your thoughts, whatever thing in nature, everything is illumined by me, none other than me, right? So the consciousness, or what he's alerting here, is that imperishable consciousness, unseen consciousness, imperceptible consciousness is the one that illuminates each and every function of ours. Realize that particular thing, and therefore go behind the mirror. Go to the 26th verse. Yeah, here it touches upon something. Um, when we look at, I touched upon this. I know everything that has happened in the past. Remember in fourth chapter, he said this. I know each and every part of my previous life. You don't have any clue of it. So, so I know what has happened in the past. I know what's happening now, and I also have a clear picture of what's going to happen in the future, right? Bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu svedaja kaschana. So, but no one knows me, right? I know I'm the one who's aware of everything. How many people know that I know that? Or how many people are even aware of that particular entity that is total aware of everything about every, so that's the reason they refer to divine as a total mind. So each of our minds, if it's all put together in this entire creation and it's under one umbrella, that is the total mind that the divine is all about. So another, beautiful angle to look at this, right, is how much, how much are we aware of our birth? Are we aware? We have experience, we know, or we are aware of maybe some experience that has happened after we are born, in our childhood days. How much are we aware of, actual death that has happened in our previous janma? Yeah, people are aware till the time of their death, certain experiences, they're almost aware that they're going to probably be leaving the body. Some people have shared that. But the process of death and birth is unknown. It's a secret. It's not an experience that any one of us know. And yet, what happens? Almost all human beings worry about the death. And why is this coming here in this chapter? Because the next couple of chapters are going to dwell into this. How to prepare better for death. So if we realize that, I'm not aware of my birth, I'm not aware of my death, that means I'm continuously being here, coming here, right? Somewhere I think I'm under the illusion that I'm this particular body, I'm this, that, etc. But if I just look at it from that angle, I'm constantly being here, right? Maybe for a period of time, I was in an empty place and then I came back into another form. But if I were to look at it from that angle, it is, we can say that this word I, the entity, never dies. So Krishna says, if you get to know yourself first, you will get to know me. So ask yourself, right? If I'm going through this, one body to the other, you're not dying in this whole thing. Why is it? Right? Understand your higher nature. And once you understand your own higher nature, you'll also know that there is a super higher nature, which is me, that is cognizant of everything that's happening in this entire, you know, existence. So, and the best way, to know me as an existence is what if I'm even aware of the five elements. And in that five elements, the subtlest of the five elements is space. If I'm able to at least recognize the fact that there is something called space that exists between, one object and the other. And that space is also permeated by the same consciousness that is there inside the object between the two objects. And yet I worry about I'm not in terms with the other object or person who's made up of the same substance as what is there in between also. So for us, therefore, that space is a concept. The space is something, that it's there, but are we able to realize that the same energy permeates the two beings as well as the space between the two beings? Just like the pot, between two pots, there is space. Inside there is space, outside there is space. If I am one pot, I might be thinking I am in the pot, small pot or big pot, and I'm special because I'm in a big pot and I have this. not realizing that just outside, whatever that space is the same as what's inside me. So, and the other aspect of it is what, therefore, one can say that, when we say divinity, it's beyond, right? It's permeating in space, it's beyond space, and it's also beyond time. You know, Gurus have talked about this, right? Our entire existence that we talk about, we for us, it's all linear thinking process, right? Space, time, this happened before, this is going to happen tomorrow. It's all a linear scale. But if we were to look at the existence, somebody asked, when did existence start? When did matter start? The way all our scriptures say is look at the entire existence as a spherical thinking. Do spherical thinking. A sphere or in a ball, there is no start and an end. You take it from one point, you move it around the ball, you come to another place, but it's still the circumference. So there is no beginning and there's no end. Right. And that's the reason ancient rishis, as they conceptualize that this entire so-called matter that we refer to, there is nothing like matter started at this time, matter is going to end at this time. Matter has always been there, it will always, never, there's nothing like a start and end. Same with consciousness. There's no start and an end. And then remember in one of the satsangs, maybe a few years back, one scientist revealed that, his thing said that there is nothing called matter at a deeper level. There's nothing called matter. The only thing that exists in this entire existence is vibrations, consciousness. That's it. Matter is an illusion. Matter is superfluous. It is there for us to do some work, but it's just not an end in itself. So, in one of the later chapters, it will come where, it says where God has got 1,000 arms. He's got arms in not only this planet, this galaxy, that galaxy, all the galaxies, his hands are there. Arms and legs, everywhere it is there. That means what is that all pervading. So for us, that sphere of understanding is again this galaxy, one sun, set of planets. We'll now chant the 27th onwards, we'll chant. इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्तेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां स्वन्तगतं चापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां न द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्तां भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः. So if you see these stanzas, again goes back to the opposites. You see the word, right? That is ichcha dvesha, right? Desire, aversion, likes, dislikes. They are part and parcel of one's life. But realize that they are, not your, you have to be in that, you have to go through this. It's not, cannot escape that thing. But realize also that it can trap you. Right. So how to, how to look at this particular thing, right? So all of us can't say that, I'll come out of desire, totally come out of desire, to totally get rid of, opposites are there, but where is your mind? Is your mind totally trapped in it, or you're able to come out of that very quickly, somewhere, to come into equilibrium or centeredness? That's the whole thing, right? So therefore, a craving and aversion are strong words. Like and dislike are slightly, lightly lenient words. Like and dislike, all of us will have. But if that like and dislike becomes so strong, where it deals with craving and aversion, then it gets entangled, right, in one of us. So you start hating somebody, you start excessively loving somebody. And so we are in totally opposite spectrums. can we come a bit closer? Can we be a bit more balanced? Because duality in the worldly life is given, and to get to the inner core of ourselves, which is no duality, right? For that to happen, this duality should not entangle one's life. That's all there is to it. Duality is not something you can dismiss off because that's what it is, right? We are going to deal with people who just give different perspectives or people who have totally opposite behaviors. Easy to say accept everybody, but the key thing is not to say blindly accept somebody. Accept it, realize that there is a pitfall, right, and then move on with it. But if that acceptance is something that comes under aversion to lack of acceptance, that is where the trap is. So the only thing in all of this, right, how to come out of this slowly or get easier, how to get centered, nothing simple, right? It just comes to practices. Same thing, right? Remember in the previous chapter, abhyasa, abhyasa, abhyasa. Just, just be in that space so that we are not getting into the clutches of this one. And, it ruins our ability to think properly, ability to work properly, and our emotions go for a toss. So the more, therefore, we are, at least come to terms with the fact that some of this is there, that just a simple awareness, right? So you've always said this, right? Just you become aware that I'm going through itself is a beginning. The problem is most people are not aware that they're going through it. And later on, there's a regret feeling, if only this didn't happen, I would not be here. And how does that awareness get created? Practices. Look for a higher ideal in life. And towards that higher ideal, seek a guru or do practices, etc., etc. And the beauty about our thing, right? If you seek a look at our whole cycle of life and death, etc. When we die, right? We of course there is a part of the impression that gets carried, but we go into space of void, nothingness, and from there, it is like a seed. So when you plant a seed on the earth, right, like a mango seed, etc., there is a membrane that covers it. And you put water in it, put soil, right soil, etc., manure. Slowly, the seed pops out, membrane comes out, and then only when the membrane comes out, the seed, leads to a small plant, a tree, and so forth, so forth. Same thing in us, right? For us, that membrane also comes out, wherein the time we are born is when duality comes into the picture. Till then, it's all oneness. Duality means what? Opposites. I like this, even as a baby, one likes milk, one doesn't like this. One likes this fruit juice, doesn't like that other fruit juice. I like this particular toy, I don't like this particular toy. All of this starts right at a very early age. Now, at that innocent age, those probably we transcend that very quickly. But the same thing as we get into adulthood and so forth, that thing becomes, more and more. As a child, you dismiss it off very quickly. As an adult, it's very hard to come out of it. So that's a trap Krishna wants us not to get into. Therefore, he says that people, and you see the 28th stanza, people who, on the other hand, start doing this meritorious work, are doing these practices, who do charity and do their sins. See, when he says sins, it means not taking any more karmas. They start getting exhausted. And once they start getting exhausted, then slowly this duality principle, while it is there in the waking state and has to be done, is not one that grips their emotions, right? They're able to come out of it, and that they're able to get into meditation. In, so Guruji has talked about one thing, right? To to be even a good meditator, you should have had merit. You should have done something good this janma, previous janma, etc. What does it mean? It means doing something for a higher ideal, putting a smile on somebody else like a seva. If you have done something, right, then that also leaves you. And what is it doing? It is removing garbage out of you. And removing garbage out of you leads us to meditate. So therefore, so here when he takes 28, it gives a taste of what that person has to go through, right? The body and senses are there to work. There is no, it has to be external driven as, when we go to work, etc. All of that is there. The question is, what's the mindset that is followed? That is. So therefore, doing things um, with discipline, doing things with an abhyasa in mind, etc., is what he's referring to here. And then, yeah, we jump to 29th and 30th now. Yeah. Jara marana mokshaya मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुत्कृष्णम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ते ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः. This concluding verse. ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः. So this 29th and 30th verse, so related, it's also a prelude to what's going to happen in chapter 8, subsequent chapters. So he brings few terminologies here. Jara, he says that those who want to come out of this liberation and realize me, so there is, he uses the word adhyatma, he uses the word brahman. Even in the 30th stanza, you see the word adibhuta, adidaiva, in all of those words. What are they, etc.? All covered in chapter 8 and beyond. And also how to come out of what is to be done to be prepared to be, towards having a good journey after death is also brought up in the later chapter. He refers to that, right? Having the knowledge of the self and practices will enable us to do that. And that we're going to get into detail in the next chapter. So we'll probably close it here. Probably can talk it out and then. बोलिए. उर्मिला जी है ना आप? अभी जाना है क्या? Okay, Kalpa ji, share please. You can share your thoughts.
Yeah. Being born in this world, and then there are always the needs of the body, mind, and soul. So it's a journey we cannot avoid. But being in this journey, and then, and still realizing that it is all Maya. And every time, we have to remind us that. And we have to work, I think, with detachment all the time. We have to do the duty without attachment. And this, at the same time, it's all Maya, and there is something beyond all that. And all the things are happening because of that supreme force, and we have to surrender constantly. It's a constant practice. But always the needs for the family, this, that, our emotions, we forget it. At times, oh, why it's happening, why this suffering like that. But I mean, it's a journey we can't avoid. But if we can remind ourselves, okay, this is sort of part of that Maya, I think that's what is important.
Yeah.
All these aches, pains, happiness, everything is Maya. That's what it is. Because birth and death, as you said, is unknown. That's what it is. We are clueless. Nobody knows what it is. It's still, but then but it is still there. The supreme force. We're all only maybe toys. We don't know even our own body what's happening. We can't control anything. We run to the
Yeah.
doctor. We live with the hope that he's superior to us. But then I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So it's all part of the game. It is the game that we are all used as toys. I think
We are
pawns,
in fact toys. We are just, puppets, as we call it
puppets. That's
sometimes.
it. That's it. I mean, to keep reminding that is the that illusion is the most important thing. But then even to be able to share this and talk, it is a lot of what you call clarity it will bring in our life. We are able to express this, or you want to think in this process, because how many people really think? Because we see the outside world, people running mad after so many things, So at least we are in a better position, able to listen to this, and then maybe progress in this direction is something I think we are blessed.
Yep. Yep. Veena ji,
Happy Guru Purnima to everyone.
happy Purnima.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramesh ji, for your knowledge, beautiful knowledge. Yeah, but today I'm trying to understand about Maya. Yeah. So, yeah, usually the happiness, we think that there is something which gives us happiness. So, Mohamaya and uh, Mahamaya and Yogamaya. So, this Mahamaya, Rameshji, I could not understand about Mahamaya. Lack of spirituality, is it? Always
Yeah,
being
no. So,
restless.
so I think as Kalpaji was also saying, right? You see the world outside many a times. It just is morning to night. It's like a robotic operation happening.
Hmm.
Human being yet a robotic mode. You understand what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying? Rarely
yeah,
giving thought is what's happening, right? I have to do this. I have to do this. It's after I've got this goal. All fine, but towards
yeah,
what? Towards what goal?
yeah. Yeah, so many times, yeah, we forget about the death. One day it is going to end. So always we'll be entangled in that Maya. So, yeah, this Maya only leads us to suffering.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just that we
And
are not able to, being in the path, having spiritual people, satsang, etc. really helps us. Otherwise, it just takes you to another world.
yeah.
I want to share one thing I read. There is a fly, and this what do you call the other one is I mean uh, um, normal fly, and the other one which will get attracted to the light, and then it will just it
Moth.
moth.
You're
What?
referring to
So
the moth.
yeah, so the fly was asking the master, I'm also like that moth only, but why? I mean, they are so different. So he said, okay, you go in search of light, he says. So it just goes around and comes back. He says, no, I didn't find. He says, you didn't find the light. The moment you find the light, you merge, you don't come back. That's what all of us
Yeah.
are. We are like flies.
True. Very nice.
Yeah. Mhm. And even
Any,
sometimes, yeah, Ramesh ji, I recently one thing happened, that is because of some misunderstanding in a family, that they are trying to get divorced. So yeah, there are small things, but still, why do they take it seriously? And one day it is difficult to get the another partner who is totally fine and yeah, perfect. They know that, but still they want to separate, and again they want to get married. So sometimes all this Maya, they why don't the
Yeah,
people understand about the Maya? Yeah, it looks so silly.
No,
Small things.
I know.
it is
You
not
you
like
laugh
that.
at
Everybody wants, in the day-to-day life, peace of mind. If you don't have peace
Yeah.
of mind, what is the other alternative you think? Okay, it may not be
Mm,
with that particular person. If it is going to be hell day in and day out, they feel okay. Maybe we are not meant to be together in this journey. So
yeah.
a peaceful separation is always better. Whether they get married again and find somebody else or they need it, that is different issue. But if you have the maturity to realize that having a day in and day of peace is important instead of
Yeah.
what do you call, I mean, yelling at each other or fighting, making the whole family unhappy. Finally, all of us look for what? Joy, peace, and happiness. So that should be there. If that is not there, these things happens. But if you are able to take it in that perspective, it is an individual's experience.
Mm,
We cannot, make any ruling on that. It's an individual's life, day in and day out.
yeah.
Yeah, journey.
so it's a
Yeah, yeah,
journey they
true,
have
true.
to go through, right?
I'm
And they
sorry, I
realize
was
it
not
sooner or
little.
later.
It was little vague. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, no, it's
Yeah.
okay. It happens. When somebody goes through that, they know. We are not a person to judge. When
Mm,
we have the peace of mind, we can't judge. But what they are going through day in and day out, we don't know. No. If they're mature
yeah,
enough, they can take a matured decision. You can advise, they can try. That's why the family code, they tell them to try and things like that. But again, each two different entities with different Maya, if they cannot go along, it's very difficult.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all of us are Maya only. If we can see eye to eye with each other, we can do something together. Otherwise, we can't, isn't it?
True, true, true.
Any
Well,
thoughts,
Jai
Yeah.
Gurudev.
Bhavani?
Yeah, Jai Gurudev.
Check with it.
Before I talk, every session that I have, I'm totally open here. Even though Guruji has said so many times, don't reveal every experience you have. He used to tell directly, indirectly to me. So, but this group and these people within the Automatic are such, then Ramesh connection with me is such that every session that I have, he brings me right to the present moment, what I go through, everything. And he takes me much deeper into revealing what is happening inside me. So all this yogamaya, mohamaya, manomaya, all that thing, mohamaya,
Mahamaya.
Yeah.
mahamaya, yogamaya, all these things I've experienced and gone through, but all these have sent a residue of emotions, thoughts, experiences, and consequent behavior, actions, and reactions in life till now. Now, what has happened, I don't know what has happened for now for some time now, which I've been trying to tell Ramesh, is that the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings are breaking. They're coming, that they're breaking. So, like it used to carry on in my mind and this and it carry on and translate into the world. It's giving a break there, a straight cut. And I am not looking for judgment or to be judged or to say, I just say it because I'm 100% in this class. And I believe, whatever you believe me or judge me, I believe that this is a class which is a blessing for me. So, what I find is that regarding the last thing you said is about, I want to tell you the last thing which came to me after the Yoga Maya. What was the thing you said, Ramesh?
Mahamaya.
No, after Maya, the last one, which was that
Illusion.
experience. No, no, I know all that. No, no, after that, what was the discussion last part?
Realizing that
The last one. Huh?
realization that the
Duality. Duality. It was
no,
called
Yes,
duality.
thank you, Veena. Yeah, yeah. When
Yeah.
Ramesh was saying this duality, something is happening in my life so beautiful that the thing is, I'm not looking for peace or joy. Wherever I was doing with the satsang, there was a need or something I was looking for. Now I'm not even interested in satsangs or anything. It's not with a shrinking into myself also. It's a different story where I'm so happy in whatever present state I am in. I'm not looking for escaping from whatever I go through or not. I'm just standing there and I'm facing it. I'm whatever I am and accepting myself. So this duality which I find, even with Kapota, is very spiritual. Though I will like to share with you, whether in the art of living or anywhere where people are preaching something and something else totally happens, Ramesh. Unlike people, teachers like you, Shobhaji, Bharat Bhaiya, Raghu Bhaiya, I have to say today because Guru Puja, Vimi, such people, other people are there who are very good. That's like everything. But there is duality in everyone. But in very few people have I seen that total oneness where you're not understanding, translating what Guruji says into actual life. And there's so much duality in teachers, this and the respect that you show is not a something a need in you to get applause or to get I can feel it. It's or to get recognition as a teacher, no. But there are people around, even in spiritual life, where they're totally from deep inside. I feel that they're totally different. I feel the comparison. I'm sorry for that. It's not a comparison, it's a fact. There's so much duality in life. Again, how they behave, and there's so much of Guruji's teachings everyone uses according to the way they want. I used to think sometimes why he sits and watches, but if he is able to sit and watch through it, I have also started sitting through it. So the duality had come into me. I was going for the satsang. I said no. So I said there are so many people outside the spiritual life who are so totally spiritual. But there are people in the spiritual life, Ramesh. Pardon me for so Guruji must be here. You are totally who are there, who are teachers, who are this, and who don't have true respect. Where they're just using it conveniently. I'm judging them now, you can say, doesn't matter something they only for self recognition or self. I can feel it. I can believe it. Please believe me. I do. And it's totally different. There are only handful of teachers like this, Mutti me, who are still not caught in that trap. This duality, I was caught in the trap, and I said, the thing is, pehle mere ko dvesh aata tha, and why this is happening? I used to ask questions. No questions now. I go through it. I just be with it. And while this duality was happening, you took this session. I said, okay, I will attend Ramesh's session. I told Mimi. And you tell me how Guruji watches all this. Please, your 1.5, 2 minutes is what is duality in the most spiritual of organizations? Please.
No, I think Guruji has said this, right? There are so diverse people.
No,
I just
Guruji,
have the
leave
same
it. You
thing.
tell me you're Guru. Forget about Guruji's knowledge. I've heard about it. You tell me you're this. As a layman who are comfortable with, who sit here on the window, tell me you're this. Am I telling an untruth? No, I am not,
No, no,
whether
no.
you believe it or
Absolute
not.
truth. Absolute truth.
And I don't want to
And
give all the pollute your minds with whatever has happened because
no,
I'm
no, no,
too
no,
big
no.
for all.
No, no.
No,
See, the
Ramesh.
thing is that
No, Ramesh, just a minute. These events are so small. I'm too big for all this. I'll get out of it. But I like to surrender to this group as to nothing is as a theme in this world. Earlier, I used to get disillusioned with it, run away from the world. I wanted to. I don't want to run away. I just face it as it is, go through it. I am much more powerful than mind. There is no string. I'm not a puppet using Guruji's hand. Guruji has given me the string himself. I have the string in my hand. When I cannot lose it, I know I have not. My string is going loose. I don't have the reins. The puppet is my mind, and that is how I am feeling now. Thank you. And
thank you.
on Guru
Like,
Purnima, please tell me why this duality in. No, you have to tell me as a
duality,
teacher
see,
who I look up to. No, this
I'll
opposite,
tell you,
exactly
I'll only
opposite.
refer, I'll only refer to, I'll refer to only the Guru Mandala, right? You all are aware of Guru Mandala, right? Guru
I know
Mandala
that.
is
I've read the
essentially,
knowledge.
no, no, no. Guru Mandala is not at all knowledge. Guru Mandala is essentially multiple concentric circles, and the middle of it is the real stuff, right? Is the reality or a guru there. But all these
Yes.
concentric circles are essentially, the aberrations, doubts, misgivings, making small things into big things, all those barriers. And everybody has to go through the Guru Mandala to reach him. It's like a test. Even in spirituality, there is a test, right? The nature makes us do it to make sure, to see how strong you are. And so way I look at all these different class of people is everybody, including me, is going through that Guru Mandala. Nobody is
It's fine.
perfect, right?
Yeah,
That's
that
all.
That is the Maya.
Guru Mandala thing I've understood. Guru
And
Mandala
that is
thing I've
Maya only.
understood.
And what you said is true.
Experience.
That's also Maya. It is just that when we see it from the angle of, I want to go, when we put that conceptually, this concentric circles, right? You say, I'm going to take off one circle at a time, and go to that center.
Yeah.
It makes you look at it from a different angle. That's all.
I understand. I always say I am in a Guru Mandala, but I am Chakravyuha mein hai, but like Abhimanyu, you're not caught in that because of Guruji's grace. I say that.
Yeah.
But so many things happen. The most spiritual with the people who are least expected to have this.
That's
to have
okay.
that this.
Let's
You have
move out
to
of that,
pity them,
Bhavani ji.
that's all.
Today we are not going to talk about those people, right? Today we are going to talk about the people that we are in the right path, we are
Very
in the right
convenient,
group here.
very convenient, very selfish. Uses Guruji's knowledge to their advantage. Most of them
It's
do
okay.
it. Pardon me.
I think
Guruji.
one day everybody is going to go through it because leave this to
Guruji
the
is
Guru, right?
listening
He
to me.
knows
That's
best.
why I want to tell you. It will reach Guruji
I know.
immediately.
He knows best, right? That's what I'm saying. I want us to take that judgment picture out of our head.
Yeah.
So
No.
yes,
I don't
silent,
want to
right?
detail the incidents are too small. I just want to say
Sure.
what came to. Thank you.
Thank you. Guru Purnima. Happy Guru Purnima to you
Jai
all.
Guru.
Happy
Jai
Guru
Guru.
Purnima. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.